Mastery of mind. So hopefully you're taking notes from some of these things. So mastery of mind, which is an elite level of self-awareness. This is an awareness of emotional imbalances, of emotional triggers. What are your motivations and stresses, right? So basically the carrot and the stick. What is it that keeps you showing up every day? What is it that you can't handle? What are the things that send you off the rails? And like for me, I've changed gyms. I go to a gym just up at the pretty much the end of my driveway now, simply because the gym I was going to, now with Bali tourism through the roof, it would bum me out, man. It would ruin my fucking day. I'd go there, and I love the gym, and I'll go there and I'm like, oh yeah, traffic's quite annoying. Get to the gym, train, and I'm like feeling on top of the world, and then on the way back, every mongrel is just driving at 20 kilometers an hour in front of me, just causing traffic jams and indicating in the wrong direction. Like they're indicating left and they're hanging a right as you're about to overtake them, and you're like, that's just dangerous, man. Like, yeah. So I don't do that anymore. Now I just walk across the road. Sometimes I go to the sauna. I just go in my towel, just walk over there and walk back. So yeah, mastery of mind. Actually, let's go back to the health one. Sorry guys, I'm bouncing around a little bit here. Last note on the health. So what am I doing? Now that I know that I've got that problem with the aluminium toxicity too high, what am I doing about it? That's the most important thing. Again, the gym across the road's got an infrared sauna, which infrared sauna is not as hot as the red traditional sauna. They're only about 65 degrees rather than 80, 85, but you stay in them longer, like 25, 30 minutes rather than 15, 20, and they're better for heavy metal detox or toxic metal detoxing, such as aluminium. Great, that's exactly what I need. So it's about pinpointing and doing the right things. Now, I also take one heaped tablespoon of, I'm even going to do a whole YouTube video or video for the community on what is my supplement regime or routine. And as you can see, I don't really need to be supplementing much. I need more copper and I need less toxic metals in the form of aluminium. So I do I've mixed together, because I'm also lazy, right? I don't like to do a teaspoon of this and a teaspoon of that, teaspoon of like 20 bloody things. It's annoying. So I've got 2 tubs that I do a tablespoon of each. One tub is wheatgrass, chlorella, and spirulina. Bang, put that in a protein shake that up, knock it back. Another tub is, I've got my protein powder, ashwagandha, and maca powder, black maca powder. And I put that in the shaker, knock that back as well. That's really great for emotional stability. Right, so another one, addictive tendencies. Mastery of mind. If you're somebody who has an addictive personality, this is going to have, basically, an addiction is a predisposition to impulsive behavior, right? Which is basically behavior that you can't control. Somebody who's addicted to sugar or smoking or gambling. I don't know many great traders who have these predispositions, who are the ones who are addicted to these different, or substance abuse, whatever it is. Simply because trading is naturally and can be very addictive. It's impulsive behavior. Most drug addicts don't want to be drug addicts, or people that smoke. How many times have you heard smokers who are like, I wish I could quit, but it's just so darn hard. It's like, yeah. In the beginning, you probably shouldn't have started in the first place. Maybe where did that come from? Lack of discipline, or high stress, or volatile kind of behavior, or impulsive behavior. A lot of it comes from impulsiveness, right? So things like that, or nervous tics, or different things like that. You got to really get ahead of this and in control of it. And obviously, you could do a whole masterclass. You could spend years studying each and every one of these 5 areas. All we're doing today, the purpose of today, is to bring an awareness to each of these subjects. So this is just kind of painting the picture of what it is that I'm talking about, right? So your elite level of self-awareness, like what helps, and we've spoken about meditation quite a few times, and that falls more into mastery of mind than mastery of health. Now there are a lot of health benefits to being to meditating, like obviously emotionally. What meditating does, if you become a monk, and you don't necessarily need to become a monk, but you are observing your behavior. There's a millisecond there, or half a second, where you're observing your behavior before you act something out. Impulsiveness, you're breaking that chain of impulsiveness, and that's kind of what I understand the definition of what mindfulness is. We see these these words being thrown around all over the place, all over the socials, but mindfulness. What actually is mindfulness? It's catching yourself not in the act, but you're catching yourself before you act, right? And being able to break that chain. Neurochemistry. So what is neurochemistry? That is getting a basic understanding of what the different neural chemicals are and how they influence your actions, right? So, and this isn't about passing the blame and saying, well, look, I'm naturally somebody who's got more cortisol in my bloodstream, or so I get angry more, so that's okay. Or somebody who's just a little bit erratic or neurotic. Neuroticism is one of the big 5 personality traits, right? If you're high in neuroticism, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just you've got to be aware of it, bringing an awareness to these things so that you know how to manage and mitigate them in your trading. So neurochemistry, so the big ones, obviously dopamine, cortisol. Actually, let's bring those up exactly. You can have a look at what the definition of this. So neurochemistry is the study of the identities, structures, and functions of compounds, neurochemicals, that are generated by and that modulate the nervous system. Neurochemicals include oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, and other neurotransmitters and neurotransmitter-regulated substances. Sounds a bit dense, doesn't it? But basically, it is what is your brain doing? Like, we know that trading, when we talk about, master your mindset, it's 80% mindset and it's 20% trading. What does it actually mean? And, literally, what does that mean? It means what is going on literally in your limbic system and your prefrontal cortex, and what is the impulse, what are the signals that are being sent through your brain for you to act in such a fashion, which can be conducive or to your trading and constructive to your trading, or deconstructive or completely destructive. So some resources that I'd like to recommend to you is, if you want to explore this further, because I'm obviously not well versed in this, or not super well versed, I've got a pretty solid understanding of it myself. And this mindfulness and understanding the mechanism of what is going on, you can catch yourself in the act. Again, it's the whole meditation thing. It's about mindfulness. Oh, I can literally, and you'll start to, over time, talk in terminology of, I can feel my cortisol levels quite high, right? Because of the bloody idiot who was indicating left and swung a right, crossing the center lane when I was overtaking him because he was going 20 kilometers an hour, indicating left, so I thought it's safe to drive around him, and he fucking almost killed us both. That's not a great place to come to. When you've got that coursing through your bloodstream, that amount of cortisol, it's going to influence your trading. So having an awareness of that doesn't necessarily mean don't trade. It just means that, hey, okay, I'm currently in a state, I'm predisposed to perhaps revenge trading here. It's these little pathways, these little observations that you can make. So resources, I've got 2 here, but I'm going to recommend a third one which has come to mind. So do the Big 5 personality test. You can find that, just Google it online. I think it's 120 questions. Actually, let's go for that. So openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. And I'll rank you on those. And you can put together the pieces of the puzzle to see which ones are going to be great for your trading, right? Extroversion, if that's incredibly high, that's probably the that could possibly lead to over trading. Like, oh yeah, man, let's just go, let's just give it a crack and see what happens. This trade looks pretty good. It's not necessarily on the trading plan, but it looks pretty bang on. Let's go. If your extroversion is incredibly low, you might be under trading, waiting for the perfect God's gift to mankind setups to present. That's not necessarily a good thing. You might be violating your trading plan by not trading enough. Maybe. Neuroticism, that's more being predisposed to pessimistic behavior, and that, anxious and anxiety, and, the world's out to get you, and you're seeing fear and doom and gloom everywhere. Could be another thing. Agreeableness, this might result in you bouncing between trading strategies because you're like, oh, I watched this guy on YouTube and he said that this is the best strategy and he seems great. I trust him. I watched him for like 7 minutes and he turned $10,000 or $1,000 into $1 million in 1 week. Fuck, let's sign up to his course. Could be what you're predisposed to there, and so on, right? So bouncing between strategies. So that's the first resource that I recommend. Another one here is the 16 personality test. The Myers-Briggs, all of our platinum guys have enrolled, who have all done that. There is a 240-page document that you can get printed out. You pay extra for that, or that they email you. You can learn more about that. So basically the mastery of mind and mastery of self. Who are you? What are you predisposed to? This also includes any past traumas that you might have had as a child. Like we all carry trauma, we all have baggage, right? But how is that playing out in your trading, right? Like self-worth, worthiness, like raised in a poor family, I don't think I'm worthy of money. And this might be something deep and unconscious that ends up playing out in your trading. There's 10,000 ways and directions we could take this, but again, we haven't got time to cover it all today, so something to be aware of, right? Moving on, mastery of discipline. I wanted to dedicate its own section to discipline.